Hi friends, in this tutorial I'm gonna teach you about how to use Entity Framework. I already had few tutorials about how to use Entity Framework in the website in using MVC3, MVC4 application. But some people requested how easily you can create an Entity Framework in Visual Studio 2012. So in this tutorial I'm using Express 2012 and which comes with Entity Framework 5. So let's go ahead and create file, new project, select ASP.NET MVC4 web application. Name of the project is Student Details Demo App. Press OK. In this project I'm gonna use mobile application template. Not going to share a lot about mobile application. Mainly we are concentrating on Entity Framework, but just for the fun I'm using mobile application. Press OK. In this tutorial we're going to use very simple way of accessing database using Entity Framework. I already created a database called Student Details. We're gonna use the same database in this tutorial. Okay, we are good. So now we have a project. If you go to Solution Explorer, you'll see Student Details Demo App, and you have a list of folder, controller, views, models already created by Visual Studio, and these views are more towards mobile app. So if you play this, you will see how this application looks like in looks in mobile. If you are using the plain web application, you can use the normal template. If you want to create a mobile application, then use this mobile template. See here, it looks like iPhone app. So we have a navigation and about and contact. If you press contact, it has the contact details, and home has some details. We're gonna create a new link called student view. When you click the student view, we're gonna show a list of all the students which present in database. Let's stop this. I'm gonna create, right click, add a new folder called data layer. Data layer, rename it. When you create a big project, you may end up creating this data layer in a separate project instead of creating that project inside this demo web application. Usually when you create a large big application, you may have business layer, data layer, and then you'll be having service layer maybe, and finally you'll have this web application or mobile application. For this demo I'm going to use data layer folder here, and right click, add a new item and select data and select ADO.NET entity data model and rename this into student detail access. Add generate from database. I already have a database. If you have a database already, press nest and select the database which you wanted to use. Nest. And when I press back, we have new data which doesn't have student detail table. So since we don't have the student detail table here, I'm going to create a table in this database. Click database explorer. Click this. This is the database we're trying to access. Right click table, add a new table. Table name call student detail and create first name, last name, student ID. Change this to worker. And change this primary key into identity. Then press update. This will create this table inside the database. Update database, which is new in 2012. Okay, so now we have a student detail table. Right click, show data table data. I'm gonna create new data test2. So now we have 2 rows in the table. Go back to our solution explorer, right click data layer again, add new item, data ADO.NET, rename to student data access, press add, generate from database, yes, nest, and we're gonna use new data table, entity called new data entity. Let's keep it that way for now. Select the table. So now we have 2 table here. Press nest, finish. Okay, so this is the database diagram which created an EDMX using entity data framework. Save it. If you have your big database connected to this, you'll see all different tables here, and it's connected with all the primary key, foreign key, which all the connection links, so relationship will be connected with some kind of lines from one side to other side, something like so once you have the student data access ready, and entity framework is ready with you, so now we can easily connect the database. So let's take a look at this. this structure, it has a context, and if you press context, it has a list of details about how the whole entity is working together, what are the things they're using mapper, all the stuff. If you click student data access contact.cs, you'll see the name of the entity we are going. This is the name of, this is the name of this name is we going to use in our application to access the database. So if you see here, we have a database set, student details table, and then student details and table. If we have 7 or 8 or 20 table, then all will be listed under here. Okay, so now we are almost ready. So let's go to home controller. We need to create a new links. First thing is we go to the index page. We have contact page, about page. We're gonna create a new page. It's called student view. Inside the home controller. So I'm gonna create a new controller. Go to home control. We're gonna create an action name student view. Public action result. Okay, return view. Okay, let's run this to make sure our new data entity, everything is not producing any errors. Okay, now we have a new links called student view. Close this. So we have a controller ready. Link is ready. We need to create a new view called student view. Okay, in this student view, we're gonna use strongly typed model class. The model class is, we're gonna use the entity model class. We haven't created any model class, but we're gonna use student details entity as a model class. In this tutorial, I'm gonna use scaffold template, which will help us to create, delete, update operation easily. So in the scaffold template, I'm gonna use list. In this page, we're gonna see list of all the students which stored in database. Uncheck this reference script libraries for now. Press add. Alright, so this created template for us. It's gonna use student details class, which student detail class, which created by using entity framework. And it has for each loop and a list of to display all the list of students, and also it has 3 links to edit the student data, view the student data, and delete the student data. Okay, run this application and see. So now we created a student view, and we created a control action called student view, and we created a link in a index page. So when we click the link student view, it will call the controller to access student view page. The student view page needs student details. So far in our controller we don't have a student details. So what student view CSS is looking for is enumerable of student, which means list of all the students. We need to send list of all the student in this action. So here we are going to access our entity framework. To get the entity framework name, let's click here. This is the name of the entity. New data entity. En data equal to, right click, resolve. Okay, now entity is connected. Now e data dot student details as queryable, which will gives the list of students. We're gonna create a variable list data student list of students. Now we pass this list of students to the views. So when it comes to this section, it will call the view student view and it send the list of students. If you go to that list students view, it's expecting list of student details. Okay, so we are ready to run the application now. Okay, so now we have a student view. When I click student view, it's supposed to open list of all the students. So let's hope it works. Good, it's created list of all the it's showing list of all the students. Now our next process is create new student. So what it's expecting is we need to create a new action called create and show the text box to enter first name, last name and student ID. Okay, stop here. First thing I'm gonna do, create a new action. Let's copy this from here. Okay, create we need to create a new view called create. Return view, just keep this for now. Home controller, add a new called view create, and we're gonna use strongly typed. In this scaffold template we're gonna choose the create template. Press add. Okay. Okay, in this create.csv is expecting student details model. So let's run this. Okay, click student view, press create new. Okay, now we have all the text box to enter and to create. When I press create, it won't work because we are not ready to create the student data. We have a view to show the create view which has the text box, and we don't have the action to store the student data. To do that, just copy and paste the same thing, just change this to HTTP post. So when user enter first name, last name and student ID, we will receive that model here. So what we're going to do is we're gonna make a student details as a detail, and so one more explanation. If you go to the student view.html, we have student first name, last name, all the text box. Sorry, I opened the wrong one. Create. So if you go to the create one, we have a first name, last name, student ID, and when we submit it, when we press the create button, this will call home controller create action. Both are create, but this will call the HTTP post. This will call the get, and this is post. When we access the create method, create view, this action will execute. When we enter all the details from the create view and then press the create button, this post method will execute. So we get the student details from the page, and now we need to store. Let's copy this from here. Now we have data entity, and we need to find data first if dot id is equal to detail dot id. Okay, now we have the row to update. Sorry, we need to create it. Sorry, I was doing the update operation. Sorry, I thought it's okay. To create, just we need to do what we need to do is just press edata dot student details dot add detail and edata dot save changes. That's it. After data created, we need to call the student view. So what we're going to do, we can now open. Once it's created, we're going to open the student view. Okay, student view name, student view, and we're gonna pass list of all the students. To do that, we already done this. Let's copy this one. Now we're gonna pass list of all the students to the student view page. Okay, now run this. Okay, press student view, create new. It will open up the text box here. Type test 2 and student ID is something. Press create. When we press create button, this will call this action method, and it will store the data, and the next thing what we do is we retrieve all the student data and we store it in the student view page. Okay, press create. See, we created and we are showing the student view here. So when you press create new, second, there is some issue here. When we press student view and create new, we enter test 3 and test 3 and enter the student ID. Create new. Now we created test 3 here. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to edit the row. Cancel it. To do that, we're gonna create if you look at the student view CSS/HTML, they are accessing edit action, and it will pass the ID with it. So let's create a new action method called edit and integer ID. Okay, we do the same process. Return view. So we need to create a new view called edit. It's strongly typed, and we use edit and press add. We use the template called edit and press add. Okay, now we call new data entity. When we press the edit, we need to pass the edit. We need to find which ID we are editing, and we need to send the data to the edit view. To do that, we have a data entity edata, and then we need to find edata.student details. First, we're gonna find the first record which match the ID. F dot ID equal to ID. Okay, student variable is data equal to, we're gonna send this to the view. I'll play it. Okay, press student view. We're gonna edit the test 3 edit. This will open up with all the data here. We're gonna change to create person, and we're gonna change edit to 111 just to identify. Press save. Back to list, which won't work because we have a method to open the edit view, but we didn't create the save method, just same like the create method. We had a create view to show the view, and we created the HTTP post for saving the data which we created from the page. Same way we haven't done in edit method. So let's do that. Copy, paste, it's easy way to do it, and then we change this to HTTP post. Okay, once we done it, we will get student detail, yes, data. Okay, so now we have the student details to update. To update, we need to find the data. We need to find the row which we wanted to update. So to find a row which we need to find out, we match by ID. So now the student details which submitted from the page has first name, last name, and the ID of the student. So we get the ID here to match. Once the matching find it, we're gonna update e-data. Yes, so now we got the matching one. Now we're gonna find out yes data dot last name equal to yes data dot last name. Sorry, the name looks similar. Let's change to student details. Student details dot last name equal to last name dot first name equal to is data dot first name. It's student ID equal to is data dot student ID. Now finally we need to save changes. Okay, and then once it's saved, we're gonna send this all the student details back to same way the way we done here to student view. We need to find the list of students for that. Before that, we need to find list of students. Once it's updated, we're gonna get the list of all the students and show it in the student view. Okay, run. student view, edit, change to test, create, press save. So it's changed. So once again, edit. There is something is not working here. I think the redirect is not working, so we can do it in a different way. For now, just press edit, and I'm gonna change grade person, and to just find out the difference, press 111, press save. So it's saved. So now the create is working fine, and student is edit is fine. Now we're going to work on delete function. Okay, to do the delete function, just easy. Just copy the whole action result here. It's here. Delete. Student details dot remove. Then first thing we need to find out the row to delete. So data, now we know the, so now we're using the same logic, so now we know which row to delete. See, S data has the data to delete. So now we get data entity data dot student details dot remove is the function S data, and save changes. Sorry, data dot save changes. Now the data is removed, and then we're gonna do the same process like the way we did before. So play again. Student view, we're going to delete test2 342 row. Press delete. That's it. So now we know how to create a new new data in the entity using entity framework. Edit the table data and delete the table data. Just go through again. If you go to the home controller, we created a 345 action method. One to create a student details, one to edit the student details, one is to view student detail to edit student detail to edit, one is to edit the student detail using post method, and then another one is delete method to delete the data from the entity database. Thanks for watching, and in this tutorial I'm too slow, but I'll make sure next tutorial will be not too fast, not too slow. Thanks for watching.